Yo, what's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? Hope everyone's doing good. Let me know if the audio is okay, the volume is okay. Still working out the kinks on everything. I have now spoken to a video editor. So I've got a few $1,000s worth of equipment coming my way in terms of like a really legit camera, better just shit for streaming. So I'm really stoked. I'm gonna have like a high def camera, and yeah, it's going to be dope. So I'm really excited. So let's just get right into it. Is it too bright? I have that white screen on. I can get rid of that. Is that better? Um, let's get into it. So, really excited about today's episode, guys. I've got obviously some charts to go over with y'all. So we'll cover that shit. We're gonna cover Bitcoin. We're gonna cover Ethereum. We're gonna cover Litecoin. We'll cover kind of some alts as well. We'll try and do it relatively rapido. I've been I did a altcoin stream on Friday, not a stream, but a pre-recorded video where I covered about 10 altcoins. So I'm gonna do another one of those probably tomorrow or the next day to finish that list. I had a list, like 200 plus people commented, so I can only get through so many without making that video fucking 3.5 hours long. So I'm going to be working on getting that out soon. So I'll be covering all those altcoins that I missed. I am going to go through that thread. That's my goal, to get through everything that was commented there in a reasonable amount of time. So don't worry about that. And at the end of this video, I'm super excited about chatting to the Totem Finance team, TotemFi. So I'd sent out a couple tweets about this. These are a couple of guys that I've been connected with for a little while now. They've got a cool project that they're launching in a few days here. And I think it's dope what they're doing. I think it's fun. I think you guys are gonna like it. So I'm gonna have them on to kind of explain to Maine, the title of the series, what it is that they do, how it works, and I'll tell you guys why I think it's so cool. So it's just going to be a good way for them to get a little bit of exposure for their product. And it's something I'm personally going to use because I think it's sweet. I think it's a really cool kind of, gamification of predictions. And I'll let them get a little bit more into, what exactly it is. That'll be at the end of this stream. So the last 30 minutes of this stream will go about an hour on the charts. Last 30 minutes, I'm going to have those guys on to talk about TotemFi. And I'm really stoked. This Explain to Maine series is something I've been kind of tweeting about for the last little bit here. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about DeFi, a little bit more about Uniswap. This is a project that kind of fits into that space that I've been learning more about. So what better way than for me to learn than to, chat it out with you guys. So hope you guys enjoy that. I think it's going to be awesome. So as usual, sponsored by Prime XBT here. So they've been helping me put these streams on for you guys for like 9 months now, which is crazy. So please use the link in the description. Main 50 gets you a 50% deposit bonus. So if you deposit like 1 Bitcoin, you get an extra 0.5 to trade with. You can trade obviously crypto there, commodities as well. No KYC. Good exchange, one that I use personally. So check them out, link in the description. Obviously, everything that I talk about for the next little while here, and just in general, because who am I, right, is not financial advice. You guys already know that, but I gotta say it. Obviously, you gotta do your own research. You know, what we're doing is highly risky, so, you know, always do your own research. Don't risk more and you're, you know, kind of able to lose. Like the wind is like whistling through my building. It's hella crazy right now. So with that being said, let's get into it. So what up, chat? How's everyone doing? The neck is back. What's going on, Astro? How you doing, man? Julio, this is a Nike logo, not a Monster logo. I assume you're being sarcastic. Zek Sal says, what the fuck is that chart? Two big ass gray blocks. How will that help you trade? They're called order blocks, not big ass gray box, bro. It would have been better if I was talking shit to you and I didn't fucking stutter. Regardless, this is how I've traded for like 7 years, so they help me very much. Awesome. What's up, guys? What's up? Unknown Warrior. I turned off the white light, so let me know if that's better. But if it gets darker, it's kind of a weird time here. If it gets darker, I'll turn the light back on. Almost April, boys. We made it. The Alpha. What's up, Tanner? What's up, Tyborg? Cal. What's up, everyone? All right. Sounding and looking like a snack. Damn, Dom. You better chill before I kiss you. Continue on YouTube or stream to Twitch. I've bought something that will allow me to stream to both platforms at the same time. I'm just going to be up in my shit. I'm going to have like a proper stream template and just all sorts of shit. What's up, Sadiq? What's up, Canis Major? What's up, Eduardo? What's up, Michael? What's up, Devin? Okay, cool. Mr. Chicken Hunters says, didn't realize you got the Nike sponsorship as well. Cheers for the 9 months of stream. Super helpful. Thanks, bro. I love Nike, bro. Everything I wear is Nike. If it's not designer, it's fucking Nike sweatpants and just like Nike athletic wear. It's just like so comfy. I literally just go to the Nike outlet store and just fucking rock all Nike stuff. It's the best. It's so comfy. And I'm fat right now because I'm on the tail end of a bulk, so I don't have any jeans that fit me. Or regular shirts. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. So last we spoke was last Sunday. So let's just count that back here, right? So it's today's Sunday. That's Saturday, Friday, right? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and then this was last Sunday. So we're trading around 57K. If I'm not mistaken, I talked about thinking price was going to pull back around here. I don't know if the short had happened, but I ended up shorting some of this last week. So, I had expected a move down to around kind of, 50, 51. I think that was kind of the plan from last week. I'd given you probably some long triggers and some short triggers as well. But the end goal being obviously a higher low. I believe this was the similar chart to what I had last week in that, I was expecting a move down below these lows, at least into this order block here. Right, so this is an order block I'd been watching for a while, and I talked about, okay, maybe this is the low. Oops, what the fuck? Maybe this was the low and the level got front run. Obviously not, right? Came up, rejected right into this low. So now we've tested this low, which is one I'd been watching for a while. I'd had this on my charts for most of the month of March, saying I would like to see this level get tested. Obviously came short, came in here. Very nice test. Wicked below, but closed back above. So still relatively valid in terms of SR. The biggest problem, right, the bulls have right now is this looks like, just a descending triangle, right? This just looks like lower high after lower high and lower low, not even a descending triangle in that. Well, I guess relative to here, but we're making lower lows as well, right? Lower low, and lower highs. So technically, 12-hour chart, we're in a downtrend, right? So you have to be cognizant of all of these pumps being potentially just lower highs. And it seems like we had a very similar situation, as we've gotten, kind of a weekend pump. And it looks like it's too early to tell that we might get a pullback going into early in the week. It doesn't mean that we can't go like this. It doesn't mean that we can't go like this. It doesn't mean that we can't go like this. That's not what I'm trying to say. Just saying we've had several weekends in a row, right? Or several instances on the weekend, where we'll get a move up on the weekend looking bullish and then it retraces right away early in the week. So This is the weirdest sound coming through my building right now. It's like haunted. So, can you guys hear that? I might have to like crack my door open because that's weird. So you've got to be aware that, you know, we've got these consecutive lower highs and lower lows on the 12 hour, on the daily. You know, that's a lower low, that's a lower high. This is looking like a potential lower high. Obviously this low would need to go for that to confirm. So I'm not calling for a bear market or anything like that. I'm just saying be aware, right? And this is kind of something that I had, you know, tweeted about here. I said we're getting a bounce off support. I said maybe we're going to get a move up into a lower high. And then this is a low I've been watching, thinking we would come and snipe it right here. This 49K kind of area. So this is kind of what I was basically drawing here. So that gray block is this here. And I said, okay, we're coming in support. Maybe we'll get a little bounce and then sweep this low. Right? Because we haven't really swept any major lows here, right? These are all, I mean, we swept one here, I guess, but this is a break in market structure, which is different. Can you guys actually hear that? Hold on a sec. This is creepy as fuck. So I'm like, what is causing this noise? So I like open one of my, it sounds like wind is whistling through this motherfucker. So I open one of my windows and it just starts getting more intense. I'm like, maybe if I crack the door because it's coming from the hallway. And then I go out into the hallway and the elevator, one of the elevators is open, like, and it won't close. Like, and I go inside and the door open button is like lit up red, and then the button that says earthquake is lit up. So I don't think there's been an earthquake, but something weird is happening. So I apologize for the noise. I don't know what to do. I've never had this happen before. It's just kind of creepy. So hopefully it's not too noisy. If it is, I don't know. I'll shove a towel under the door. So let me know if it gets to be too much. Anyways, back to it. So this is kind of what I had expected to happen, right? So I tweeted about this. Obviously, this is exactly what is starting to happen. We don't know unless we break down again here, but we obviously bounced higher. We bounced up to about here, 56.5. And I had us not going quite as high. But, you know, this is never going to be picture perfect. I still think we might make one more swipe lower and take out this low. And that's kind of been the plan. And then I sent out some other fucking tweets, right? Like, I mean, you know, the stocks closed bullish on Friday. We had a big sell-off here. You know, maybe we're going to get retracement of that, which we did. You know, posted, you know, everyone was freaking out because we had a big green candle, which is awesome, right? And then I posted something about Ethereum, right? And again, I didn't long this low, right? Because I thought we might go lower. So my plan was to long confirmation, right? I want to see a long above the higher high that would have to be made above here. That was kind of my plan, right? Because if you don't long the low, long confirmation. So that was the point of this tweet. You know, if you miss the low, that's okay. You can wait for confirmation. And then, ETH was looking good. But again, this tweet got a bunch of likes, but, there's so many people in the fucking comments here that are absolutely single digit IQ, smooth brains. It's unreal. I literally posted ETH is approaching a level where I want to get super bullish. Obviously, going all in with no stop and selling everything I own is a fucking joke, right? But some people are like, well, actually, risk management, we're in a fucking triangle, some fucking bullshit. And it triggered me because some guy got some comment with 20 likes, and I'm like, dude, this guy's an absolute fucking ape. So fuck that guy. There's obviously hyperbole going on here, right? So, I mean, if you've been following me long enough, I feel like I don't need to explain this shit, but apparently I do still sometimes. This is obviously a joke, but I said it's approaching a level, and then I sent what the level is. And then even on this tweet, I had people being like, wow, longing into resistance, ETH looks like ass, we're gonna dump. And I'm like, obviously, I'm not fucking longing into resistance. I'm waiting for the level to get flipped. That is my ape level, right? Above that level, that's where I'm getting super bullish. And that's exactly kind of, where price stopped, unfortunately. We had this key SR here, right? Support, breakdown, major support here, breakdown. So to me, if we reclaim this level, I'm super bullish on ETH, right? If we reclaim this level, I'm super bullish on ETH. And until then, I'm just going to sit on my hands and be patient. Right, so we unfortunately rejected there, but it's just funny, you post these things on Twitter and the comments you get are unbelievable. So anyways, Bitcoin bounce off support, potential lower high here. What do we need to know? What is the fucking plan? So until we get above here, right, or go below here, I don't know what way the trend is going to go for sure, right? Like above here, I'm confident that we make a new all-time high, right? Below here, I think would be a good area to reverse this kind of, bull flag downtrend, because it would be a major low swept, right? Rinse a bunch of people out for basically the entire month of March being corrective. Rinse all those people. And then launch it, right? Like something like this. If we were to come down here, right, sweep this low, okay, and then reclaim this would be super bullish for me, right? Otherwise, if we just, bounce from here, as soon as we flip this, right, this order block as well as this previous high, right, because this is your market structure. Right now, right, this is your high. This is your market structure high here, right? And then this is your market structure high. Oh my God. Can you guys hear this? Dude, there's some weird shit going on in my building right now. This is creepy. So this is your market structure high. This is your market structure high. And what I mean by that is that's the high that caused the next low. Right? So when you're trying to determine when market structure has shifted, you need to see one of these highs get flipped. This is fucked. So you need to see one of these highs get flipped, right? For market structure to have properly shifted. And so this is now going to be kind of your most recent high if we make a new low. But until we make a new low, this is the relative market structure high that I'm paying attention to. So flip here, we're bullish, we're going higher. Until then, I think there's a chance that we come down to this low, and I'm looking to kind of long the dip. This is fucked. Like, is it really fucking noisy, like unwatchable? Because it's very noisy, like for me. I'm gonna like shove a towel under the door. Be like I'm hotboxing. Okay. So bottom line is this, right? I'm waiting for either a run of this low or I'm waiting for a flip of this, to get long, or that's gonna be kind of my high time frame plan, right? Flip of this or a run of this low and then look for something bullish. On the lower time frames, right, we can look for longs on pullbacks here, right? This is insane. What the fuck is going on right now? Shit. Okay. On the low time frame, right, we can look for longs on pullbacks, anticipating continuation of this current trend, right? Like this could be the bottom. I don't know, right? It could be the bottom. I didn't long here. I didn't want to long into resistance. I want to long at a discount. So what is a discount? A discount is when price is pulling back and forming a higher low, right? So if price is in an uptrend like this, right, you don't want to long here, right? Even if it ends up going up here, you don't want to long here. You want to long at a discount, right? You want to long when price is pulling back, right? You don't want to, if you don't long here, you don't want to long here, right? You want to long here. You don't want to long here, you want to long here. You don't want to long here, you want to potentially long here. So you want to long those higher lows in an uptrend. You want to long when price is at a discount. And the way that I illustrate whether price is at a discount now is using the fib, right? So if we're in an uptrend, right, the pullback will generally come somewhere around here. Usually, not every time. Sometimes it only comes to here. But that's really what the fib is for me, right? Is it's measuring a price swing. Hold on. Like this is literally fucking nuts. It's measuring a price swing and then it's measuring the pullback, right? For where you get long. So that's what I use the fib for the most part. And this goes for both bullish and bearish, right? In an uptrend, you pull from a low to a high, you're longing this area. In a downtrend, you pull from the high to low and you're shorting, you know, the reverse, right? You're shorting that area. So that's what we're focused on here right now for Bitcoin. If this is the low, we want to long a pullback into Fibonacci support confluent with technical support, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean something like this. You pick your, if this is the high, right, of this swing, we will get a pullback. The pullback could be very shallow. The pullback could be steep, right? So what I would want to look for is some sort of technical support, aka an order block, right? Or an SR level that lines up with the fib pullback. And as you can see, if I put that daily order block back on there, right, that's the low here, but it also is in line with the 7.9 and the 7.05. But you can see on the 4 hour, we have this one right here that I like, right? So this would be a potential long the dip area, right? If we ran down here, this would be a fair play long the dip, anticipating a higher low. Your stop either goes below the order block or below the swing low, right? And you target some of these highs here, right? All of these highs are untouched. None of these highs have been run, right? So anyone who's short could have their stops here, 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 or all the way up here, right? All of this liquidity is untapped. The highs have not been run. There's no big SFP here running all those highs, because then I would think that the market is for sure going much lower, right? But there's a ton of untapped highs here. So any sort of pullback, you're going to be attacking these highs. That's going to be where you're taking your profits. And then obviously potentially a new all-time high. So this would be a buy the dip scenario that I could see on the H4. I'm still leaning towards a run of this low down here, okay? But the risk reward to long here, right, and to target even just to here, or I would probably say these are essentially equal highs to me, is going to be pretty fucking good. So there's no reason to not punt along, in my opinion. Right? So even with a loose ass stop, you're getting a 2R. With a tight stop, you're getting, 6 or 7R. So this would be a trade I would definitely take. A pullback here, longing into those highs. Personally, my bias is still towards downside for the reasons that I had explained. I still think we get that kind of pullback into this low here, but it doesn't mean you can't look for longs, right? Right now, there's just no trade for me. If you didn't long here, right, or short in these wicks here, right? So if you ain't long the bottom or short the top, you need to be patient, right? So just as important as knowing what the next trade is or how to get into the trade or how to draw your charts or whatever is when to not take a trade. And that was kind of me on the weekend, right? I missed the bottom, right? I did not long the low. I had the SR level marked, right? I had this block marked. I thought we might get a bounce there, but I didn't long it, right? And so what I didn't do is chase it. Could I have longed after it bounced and still gotten, paid and still had been right? Of course, right? I could have longed it on any of these little, pullbacks here. I could have, once I saw the bounce, I could have longed. But personally, there was no trade setup for me that ticked off my rules here, unless I went on the super low time frame and I maybe got in on some sort of, low time frame swing failure pattern or whatever, some low time frame pullback and long this or whatever. I just wasn't there. I wasn't really on screen that much this weekend, and I missed the obvious trade for me and for my system, which was buying this daily order block as a potential SR flip. That would have been the trade for me. I didn't get it. I didn't take it. So I'm okay missing this, right? Like I shorted part of this. I shorted part of this. I missed a long. Like, it's not the end of the fucking world, right? You're gonna miss trades, and that's okay. Don't stress about it. It fucking happens, right? So what we're looking for now are, where's the next trade? Where's the next high probability trade that's obvious to me, that fits my system, that I want to get involved in? And that's what I'll do. So I just showed you one, right? I've showed you two, right? Down here, a run of this low would probably trigger a setup for me. Dude, this is fucked. Or a SR flip above this high, for a higher high on the H12, or a pullback into this order block, which is confluent with the fib, would be a long trigger for me as well, right? So there's three potential long situations that I'm going to be eyeing. And yes, we could come down here and I could get stopped out on this long, right? And I'll long here, right? Because if I lose a trade here for -1R and then I hit this trade for 4R, I'm still up 3R, right? So asymmetric risk reward. So I will try a long here on the dip if I get it. 52 to 53K, I think is worthy. We could come deeper. You got to remember, we can come really deep before bouncing. We could come all the way down to 51K, but I like this kind of confluence of the fib and this right around the 50% of the range. There's a nice low here that could get swept as well, right? So I like this as a potential setup for Bitcoin. Run this low, something like this, I would long. I don't know if we'll get it. We'll see, right? Otherwise, I'm going to wait for either a higher high or a high time frame low to get swept. All right, so that's the plan for Bitcoin. We'll go on to Ethereum next here. It's not that bad. We can hear fine. Okay, good. I need to call the Ghostbusters. Main, can you briefly touch on some patterns you look to identify, reversals, SFP, broken bases, etc.? Not in this video, Joy. I'm kind of trying to keep this video a little bit shorter than normal. If you go watch any of my old streams, I literally go over swing failure patterns, order blocks, breakers. I go over all that shit, like tons in those streams. So I would suggest going and watching some older streams if you want a refresher on some of those things. What the fuck is going on? All right, I shoved a blanket under the door. It appears to be slightly better. Okay. Fucking crazy. All right. So yeah, I want to keep this video a little bit shorter, so I'm not gonna go over all that stuff. I'm telling you, I've done it 100 times in these streams, so just go watch some of my old Metals with Main videos, my old Sunday streams. I cover order blocks. I cover go back to, I have videos from like 2018 where I cover this stuff, breakers, all that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, I turned on the light. I got scared. Sounds like ghouls screaming. A spacecraft just landed because your elevator is open. That's what I think it is too. I think this elevator will not close, and I think there's just hella wind coming up there. It's creepy. You can barely hear it. It sounds like I'm like in a horror movie here, man. It's creepy as hell. It's Arthur whispering people in the licks. That's funny. Is an order block something you have determined, or is it determined using an indicator? An order block is just a supply and demand concept. I call them order blocks. Most people call them supply and demand, right? So this would be supply, right? And you would sell into supply, whereas like this would be demand, right? And you would buy into demand, right? That's all it is. It's not some revolutionary thing. It's price action trading, right? Air being sucked down the shaft. That sounds dirty. Okay. Cool. I shoved a blanket down the door, and it's gotten quieter. It's creepy, man. I'm creeped out right now. It's the IRS. That's funny. Okay. Anyways, yo, what's up, Trader XO? We're just dealing with the haunting of my apartment, apparently. Okay, so cool. Sparky McTradesAlot says, been following you on Twitter for a long time. Can you point me to your favorite Discord? My favorite Discord is my own Discord. So you should join that. Okay, so let's take a look at Ethereum next. So Bitcoin, hopefully that's pretty copy paste, clear for you guys, right? Looking for a higher high, a run of this low, or that H4 setup, right? Into this order block right here. Those are my 4 long setups. In terms of a short, I already missed the entry, right? So if I was gonna short this thing, I would have wanted to short it in here, right? I missed it. We've already moved away, a few $100. Could it dump again, or could it come up? Maybe it runs. The only other short I really see is if it were to SFP this high, right? So if we had a swing failure pattern up here, I would look to short that. But otherwise, I'm not really interested in shorting because I missed that entry here. If we go down here, get a bounce, right, and then get some sort of weakness, maybe I'll look to short. But right now, my main plans are looking long the dip. So again, or long a breakout, right? So a flip of there, a run of that low, or the H4. The only short I really see would be a SFP above that H12 high, okay? So looking at Ethereum, we have essentially the exact same kind of situation going on where, we came right up into resistance, just shy, failed to break through. And so now I'm looking to, potentially long a dip. Similar to Bitcoin, right? We have to be aware this is a high, this is a lower high, right? This is a potential higher low, right? So right now, the low that generated this high here, right, got broken, right? And so the low that then generated this high, so what is the most recent swing low that generated this high, right? It's right here. So technically, that low has been broken, and we've broken market structure on the daily, right? So it is something you have to be aware of. I mean, this low is still intact for sure, so it's not, the end of the world. But for now, this is a lower high. And you know, this is a lower high, and this is now a lower low. So we need to now start breaking market structure on Ethereum to the upside. And to me, this level, you know, to flip the trend and start going up, obviously. So to me, this level is pretty fucking clear SR, right? So support, support. Now we're underneath it. It's resistance. So if we flip this level, this is a super easy trade for me, right? Because of how much buying you know, was being done here and the support that we had in all these lower wicks, to lose that level, to me, this is a textbook. If we flip this, you just long it huge. You don't want to be too, you know, tight with your stop or something like that, because we could flip it, right? And we could have a wick down there or something that goes below the box. But once we get a high time frame close above this box, so ideally for me, it would be a daily, right? Because this is a daily order block, I want to see a daily close through that level there. Could you do it earlier? Absolutely. You just run the risk of, you know, potentially getting faked out. Like here, here's a perfect example of a fake out, right? So the daily chart never closed through the box, and we made all-time high. But if you would have said, okay, I'm looking at the H4, the H4 closed through the box here, you might go, oh, it's lost support now. I'm gonna now short the next pullback, and you get blown the fuck out, right? So you do have to generally have a rule that you stick to. And my rule, for the most part, is whatever level the time frame the level originates from, that is the time frame that becomes relevant for the close, right? So if I'm using a daily level or a daily order block, I generally want to see a daily close, you know, through that level of interest or below that level of interest, to then determine that the level is no longer valid. It's not going to work 100% of the time. Nothing in trading does. If everything was that easy and it worked 100% of the time, we would all be much richer than we are. There's always going to be instances where it closes through, and then maybe it comes, you know, there's going to be instances where maybe it does this, it closes through and then comes right back below and sells off. That's a trade that I would lose, right? But more often than not, when I get the close through like this, right, then the next touch was resistance, right? So that level is now broken here, right? That level is now broken here. So that's just how I do it. But this is a super clean chart to me in terms of like your bullish bias is one level. This, for me. Flip this level and I'm bullish on Ethereum and I'm longing Ethereum to, you know, new highs, right? All of these untapped highs. And I think we'll make a push towards 2,500 or whatever, right? There's been tons of Ethereum slander on the timeline. Oh, Solana is going to replace Ethereum. BNB is going to replace Ethereum. Ethereum maxis are so salty and blah, blah, blah. Like at the end of the day, Ethereum's been around longer than all of those fucking coins, and it's trading at $16.70 per coin right now, where I think Solana is trading at $16 and BNB is trading at like 200 something dollars. So until proven otherwise, you know, Ethereum is still kind of king of the alts in my opinion and drives most of the market. And if Ethereum shits the bed, guess what? Solana, BNB, all of them are going to fucking shit the bed. Does it not mean that you can potentially capture more upside on some of those coins? Of course, right? Like, you know, if you were a big believer in SAM and FTX and what they're building on Solana, and that being kind of the blockchain network that they used for everything that they're going to build out over there, then by all means, long the shit out of Solana. Like, own it as a coin, invest in it, because there's a good chance that as long as Sam is successful, it's going to be successful. And I don't see him, you know, going out of business anytime soon. I'm a trader much more than I am an investor. So, you know, I just trade the fucking chart. And Ethereum gives me good setups to trade. And I'm also confident that Ethereum is not done its run based on my analysis of it and BTC. I'm going to continue to long it. Like, am I going to miss out on potential upsized gains on some other coins? Sure, but it doesn't mean I can't long Solana and Ethereum, right? They're not mutually exclusive. The problem with crypto is people get so fucking zoned in on one fucking coin or whatever. It's like, dude, just trade whatever chart is moving and gives you the cleanest setup and forget about everything else. If you're an investor, sure, absolutely look into the project, figure out which one you think is going to have the best, kind of longevity and X, Y, and Z, and then by all means go bananas. But this whole like maxis versus this versus that, the only maxi that is acceptable is being a Litecoin maxi, because we are the purest of the pure. We're Satoshi light. So, we're like diet Satoshi. That's the only acceptable form of maximalism. Everything else, I think, is, I generally think just devolves into fighting and just silliness. I'm obviously being sarcastic here. So maybe let's look at Sol, because that's what seems like everyone's got their fucking, their panties in a bunch about Solana lately. So, super clear on ETH here. I hope that's obvious, right? Above here, I'm bullish on ETH. Below here, I'm not bullish on ETH. And that's it. So if it can get above here, I'm going to long it. If it does not get above there, I'm not interested in longing it. Again, similar to Bitcoin, we came into demand. I did not long this, right? So I'm not going to long it here. Regardless of my tweet maybe made it seem like I'm longing resistance, I'm not, right? I'm waiting for this level to get flipped to get bullish on ETH again. Until then, I think it's just as likely that we make another low before we, kind of continue to 2,500. So I'm super plain here. I don't even need to go on the lower time frames, right? Daily close above here, I'm going to get super bullish on ETH. Until then, I don't really care. We obviously have, a potential kind of low that we could watch here to get swept right here. Kind of into here, right? Retest the previous all-time high or whatever as well, where that was. Is that right around here? So look where that lines up. So key SR, right? Key demand, right? So we had a low swept, we have demand here, we have a key low here that is untouched. So this could be a long similar to Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin were to sweep 49K, I would think Ethereum does something like this, and maybe it comes and retests that old all-time high again. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, right? I'm just playing the levels, right? I would definitely long if it did something like this. Otherwise, interested in longing here. That's high time frame, right? This is the 12-hour, the daily chart. This is like a swing trade. Get above here, swing trade long, get down here and run this low, retest all-time high, retest this demand, swing trade long. From a day trading perspective, right? Do the same thing as we did on Bitcoin, right? We had a move up, rejecting now just below resistance. We didn't quite come up and touch it. Pull your fib, right? Pull your fib, find your order block, and this is where you can bid, or where I would bid, right? You could use this one here, or you could use this one here, right? This would be the deeper pullback. But something like this is longable. Same as Bitcoin. That's the exact same setup that I showed you, right? Pull back here, boom. We are into support as well on both Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, right? So this is potential. This could be it. We could make another leg from right here. So be aware, we are bouncing off of this level for now. But if this fails, you look here, right? Exact same situation on Ethereum kind of, right? We're into this support here, getting a little bit of a bounce, but I'm leaning towards down. I just am. I'm leaning towards down on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Before further up. I'm still bullish macro, I'm still bullish high time frame, but leaning towards a little bit lower before continued upside. And I think I've given you a pretty good idea of what you can do to get involved, right? Potential long here. Flip this would be a potential long, or ultimately that high time frame long, which was down in this area, retesting the previous old all-time high. All right, so Ethereum below my key level for now. I think if you don't know what to do, I would just wait for us to clear that level. Either come down here and long it on that setup I showed you, or clear this. Easy peasy, don't need to worry about anything else. Set some alerts here, set some alerts here, fucking chill, right? You don't need to force a trade where there isn't one that's obvious to you. And a flip of this level is a super obvious, super high confidence trade for me. So this is the type of trade where I would, maybe risk more than normal, risk 5% instead of 2%, right? So there are trades that I have letter grades, right? Where it's like, this is an A+ setup, this is like a B, right? So this is a flipping of this level for me is A+. You look for the next long opportunity, and some twat in my fucking comments goes, you're not gonna get the pullback that you want. It's gonna be a Chad candle. It's like, well, thanks for the fucking tip, you genius. Like, no shit, right? I talk about this all the time. You're not always gonna get this perfect break and retest, right? But if we break through, I'm now hunting longs, and whether that long ends up being here or it's shallower retest, the bottom line is now my bias is determined, and I know what I'm looking for when I'm zooming in and going on the lower time frame to try and refine some sort of entry, right? So cool. 197 people in the little dick gang. I don't know what that means. Trader Neck, we can still hear the wind. How are you? I can hear the wind too, bro. Harambe's ghost heard you like to ape in. Rest in peace, Harambe. That sounds like that's the sound my P&L hears whenever I long the top. That sound is what happens when I open up my wallet after longing the top. Let's get some likes on this video, y'all. 268 people watching. Can we get this thing to 100 likes? Please and thank you. Is LTC hunting me? I think by hunting you mean hurting, and the answer is yes. So I did analysis on LTC on Friday when I uploaded that video, so I'm not really going to go over it again. It's already been kind of covered. But similar market structure to Ethereum, right? We've made a lower low, we've got a lower high, potential for a higher low here, right? But I want to see us flip some bullish levels, right? This would be my kind of big boy flip above 207 essentially. High time frame market structure shift, right? That would be a high time frame market structure shift. But otherwise, if we reject here, I think we're going to make a new low. If we lose this low here at 167, I'll probably cut my LTC bag and look to long, again, lower because I'm basically just above break even at this point. I think my average is somewhere around like one, depends on which exchange, because I own a lot of LTC, somewhere between like 150 through to like some bag as high as 180. So my average is probably around like 170, 175, I would say. So if we lose this low, I don't want to see this thing go any lower, right? Because I bought LTC way over here, right? I sold a bunch here, I bought more here, sold some here, bought some here, right? So like I've been getting fucked recently. Like the entire month of March has been really bad. So not my best trade by any means, but yeah, if we break market structure down here, if Bitcoin's going to 49K and Ethereum's going to go to 1400 or something like that, I'm not going to ride LTC all the way down there. At the end of the day, even if it's a spot bag, you have to know where you're wrong, right? As much as it sucks, sometimes it's a little easier to do risk management when you're trading leverage because it shows you on the chart how much you're down. You see all that shit, right, live. It's like, oh, here's your P&L, right? You see your stop on the screen. You see your take profit on the screen. With spot, it's not quite like that, right? You own it. If you check your USD value, it might be fluctuating, but you don't really, it's not as easy to see how much up or down you are. It takes a little bit more work. And you don't really have like you don't have your, kind of stop loss order in like you would on a margin trade, but you still have to. Just because it's a spot bag, no leverage, doesn't mean that you shouldn't treat it like a trade and know where you're wrong, right? And know where you're taking profit. So, unfortunately, it's not going to hit 350, I think, in 3 days. Unless a miracle happens and Tesla announces that they've decided to sell all their Bitcoin and buy LTC. So it's not looking so hot for me. But it is what it is, right? I mean, I don't win every trade that I make, and I'll take a L on LTC, and I'll, long it again probably on the diff because I love pain. But yeah, this has not been one of my better trades. Fat bids on exchanges like Phoenix. Okay, I assume you mean those are lining up with my levels, hopefully. Hi, Maine. Have you ever turned a scalp position with a good entry into a swing? Yes, generally what I do, right? Whenever I'm scalping, I'm just trying to catch like a low or a high, and then ride it to the closest resistance, the FTA, the first trouble area. I'm very rarely targeting a swing. That being said, I've done it before where I've gotten a really sick entry on a scalp. Looks like I may have caught like a major trend shift, and then I've compounded that into a larger trade. The thing is even if you're scalping, right? The way you need to think about scalping, or I think the way you should think about scalping, is let's say I'm targeting, just because you can scalp a few ways, right? Like you can be like, okay, I've got a level here, right? And I've got a level here, and I get a little low time frame SFP. I'm going to short it, and I'm going to cover here. Sure, you can do that. That's not how I scalp, for the most part. Generally, what I do for scalping is let's say there is like an H4 order block here, right? And then there's an H4 swing high over here. That's my target. And I want to long this order block. What I'll do is you can long it here with your stop here. But what I'll try and do is I'll try and dial in and scalp an entry in terms of going to a lower time frame, like maybe the H1 or the M15, finding a entry within this order block, because on the H4 I'm bullish, right? In this area. So that means on the M15 I should be able to take a long setup with more confidence, right? And then what I'll do is I'll try and get in on the lower time frame, because generally what that will mean is I will get a tighter risk reward, right? Instead of having my stop here, maybe my stop's in a little swing low here, but my target is an H4 target, right? So what I'll do is if I scalp a good entry at the first FTA, I'll usually, so like maybe this was like a previous swing low, the first FTA, and I got long here, the first FTA, I'll take some money off the table, whether that's 25%, half, getting my risk off. That's up to you. The situations are dynamic, but generally I want to take some of my risk off at the FTA. But I got to remember, just because I entered on the 15-minute, right? Maybe the 15-minute target is here or here. This trade idea was based on the H4. So you can have low time frame entries with high time frame profit taking objectives. That is something that you can do, and that would be a way to turn a scalp into a swing, right? Like again, there's nothing wrong with if we're in a range, and I've done this before, right? If we're in a range, we sweep the high, break back in, you short it, right? You just target the range low, right? And then you do it the other way. That's totally fine. But you can also use scalping as a way to enter a high time frame trade idea on the low time frame, tighter risk reward, but then still maintain those high time frame targets, because that's what the idea was based on, right? One sec here. Okay. Solana will become EOS in 4 years. Let's look at Solana real quick. So, I mean, this is what everyone's creaming their pants over, right? I mean, listen, this is obviously, it's up 18x this year, right? I'm not here to shit on this. I'm a fan of Sam, right? I think FTX is awesome. I think it's a great exchange. I mean, the dude just bought the naming rights to like the Miami Heat fucking arena, American Airlines Arena, for where the Heat play, and I imagine where the hockey team plays down there as well. Do they have a team in Miami? No. They have Tampa Bay, I think. Yeah, but no Miami. So, I mean, if this is the platform that they're going to build everything on, obviously that's great. Like I'm gonna buy spot Solana. I already have some spot Solana, and I have some spot FTT, and I have some spot Ray. I have spot BNB. Like I mean, like that, of course, right? But everyone's creaming their shorts because this thing went up the other day where everything else wasn't. Which is great. The past 3 days, this thing's up like 50%. So if you long this anywhere down here and you're holding it now, that's fucking awesome. I'm stoked for you. But get Sam's dick out of your mouth maybe a little bit. To me, it's just another exchange token, right? If it's your favorite exchange and the one that you think that's going to be the most successful, then by all means, fucking go balls to the wall on it and load up your fucking bags and hope it continues. Just be aware, right? If Ethereum drops 5 to 10%, let's say Bitcoin jumps to 49, Ethereum goes down to like here, like 1450. It drops like 14%. Okay. Solana, right, is going to drop like 30 or 40%, right? So just as much as there's upside, outsized upside potential, there's the same in the other direction, right? With a lot of these altcoins, as you guys know, right? So, this thing looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know if this is a for sure breakout yet, right? So we did not break market structure here. This candle has not closed yet. It closes in 1 hour. I mean, it's looking like it's going to close as a break in market structure. But what happens if, to play devil's advocate, everyone's got Sam's dick in their mouth, and Sam, I'm not attacking you personally. If you want to partner up on anything, just let me know, bro. I love basketball. I'd come to a game, bro. Let's just play devil's advocate here. What if this closes as an SFP? Everyone is fucking balls deep long on this thing because that's all I saw on Twitter for the last like 24 hours. And we just have a little bit of like a mean reversion here because Bitcoin pulls back, Ethereum pulls back, meaning this pulls back. And all of a sudden we're back at $12 to $13, right? If you bought this thing at the high, you're going to feel pretty fucking stupid. By all means, do I think this thing, goes higher in the bull run? Absolutely, right? Like if Bitcoin's going to 75 or 100K, this thing's going to go higher. So maybe that $16 or $18 buy months from now doesn't look so bad, right? But from a trader's perspective, right, don't chase the green candle, right? Wait for the setup. Because for you, unless you're investing, right? Unless you're investing in Solana and it's a long-term hold, then by all means, buy any dip and accumulate and hold it for longer. But if you're a trader, you don't want to buy something that in the last 3 days went up 57%, right? What happened last time it did that? It went up 80% in like 4 days. Well, then the next 4 days, it retraced 40%, right? So there's a good chance that if this is going to continue up, it might do something like this first. So if you're a trader, right, you want to focus on longing dips, and selling rips as opposed to, chasing green candles, right? So that's all I'm saying. This thing could close literally today in an hour as a swing failure pattern. So just be aware and then pull back here and then go, right? So if you're an investor, buy more, right? But if you're a trader, don't buy it here. Buy it here or buy on a confirmed close and then a pullback, right? So it all depends what you're in it for. This interesting structure here. We'll see how the daily candle closes and then we can kind of make a play. But at the end of the day, from a trading perspective, I don't care what the asset is or what the price of it is. Is it volatile? And can I figure out what direction it's going? That's all I need, to trade it. I don't need to know what the project does or anything like that. Like if you long Solana from 18 to 36, right? Awesome, right? If you long Solana from 36 to 72, as a trader, it's irrelevant what the price of the asset is, right? If I can capture a 5% move here or a 5% move on Bitcoin, it doesn't make a difference. Obviously, these altcoins generally move more. When Bitcoin is bullish, these are even more bullish. When it's bearish, these are even more bearish. So, I mean, again, I'm a fan of SAM and FTX. I get the hype, right? But I wouldn't long this here. I would wait for a pullback or I'd wait for a confirmed breakout, right? So I'd wait for a pullback to like here at the very least. Even with the fucking blanket under the door, I'm getting dice. These ghosts are trying to break in. If this closes as an SFP, we probably pull back to here or maybe here. If this doesn't close as an SFP and we just close as like a big green candle, well then wait for a pullback into the previous high and then long it. I don't know. Just my 2 cents. I spilled my drink on the LTC take. Never stop talking me and you're a legend. Thanks, guys. This guy says everyone is bullish on us because Sam paid all of these CT guys to promote it. FTX is a bad exchange with terrible customer service. Well, Sam hasn't paid me anything. So, Uncle Sam, DMs are open. Hey, Maine, are you familiar with loaf? It's a coin pegged to a loaf of bread. Bread's current trend could hit $8 to $9.50 per slice, depending on the thickness of the cut. By the end of 2021, with each loaf having an average of 16 to 20 slices, you do the math. Are you being serious? You're fucking pulling my leg. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to have the TotemFi guys pop on now. So I really am excited about chatting with these guys. We're just going to have a quick half-hour chat. If you guys want to ask any questions about this platform that's going to be launching in a few days, this can be kind of like an AMA as well. So just let me know. I'm going to bring them on. We're going to have them on screen. I'll let them share their screen. I'm going to ask them some questions about the platform. I'm really excited. I think this is a cool platform that you guys are going to like. Yeah, I suggest you stay on and watch this. And then I will come back and do a couple more charts at the end of that video if you guys want to stick around, and we can kind of just go from there. So just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just going to go off screen for a sec as a ghost is haunting my home. Leave me alone. Are you serious about loaf? You're not even joking? The ultimate hedge against famine. This guy's fucking with me. Loaf is big in Venezuela, I bet. Hey. Where can I buy loaf? The grocery store. Yeah. All right, so they're just joining up here. Give me a couple of secs. Loaf is acquired by staking actual loaves of bread. You got to take a loaf to the Loaf Foundation. They seal it in a hermetically sealed vault and give you the token. Lewis, I imagine this is not your first time telling this joke, but this is awesome. I like it. Hey, what's up, guys? I can't quite hear you boys yet. You might be muted. Can you hear me? Says you're connecting audio still. Cannot hear you yet. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't hear you guys. Interesting. Baking and staking. Y'all are funny. No, hold on here, guys. Just having some audio issues, guys. I apologize.
Hello?
There we go. All right. What's up, guys? I can hear you all right. How you doing?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me or no? Now I'm the one who's muted?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you guys?
So we can't hear him. Don't know if we can.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys might want to turn off the stream if you have it on in the background.
Yeah. Got that. Awesome.
So I'll just give you guys a quick introduction to everyone here. Chat, let me know as long as you guys can hear the guys on the other side there. But this is the TotemFi team. So I've sent out a couple of tweets about this over the last couple of weeks. I mentioned I was going to be starting this new series on here called Explain to Main. Because I'm a boomer in crypto age. I'm 30, so it's basically over for me. So I've been very reluctant to learn about DeFi, Uniswap, staking, farming, just basically everything that's new in this market cycle. It's been something I've been unfortunately ignoring, and much to my own kind of I guess disadvantage, because stuff has gone crazy. So I said, you know what? It may be a little late, but I'm going to join the party. So I made a MetaMask. I started Uniswapping. I started learning about DeFi. And I thought it'd be really fun to, do some videos with people like the TotemFi team where I find a project I think's cool and one that I actually want to use, and have them on here to kind of chat about it, because who's a better kind of advocate for what they're building than these guys? So maybe what I'll let you guys do is kind of give us the Cole's notes, the elevator pitch of what you guys built, and then I can kind of talk about what I like about it, and we can just kind of go from there. Keep it nice and easy breezy.
Yeah. Sounds good. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself quick, and then we'll give a little overview of the project.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much for having us here. I guess I'm also, as you said, a crypto boomer at 30. But this has been a sort of, as you said, a long journey of playing around with lots of various things. And obviously, Joel's kept us young. So we've been building TotemFi for the last sort of 7 months. And do you want to do a quick overview of it?
Yeah. So it's basically, we tried to make a DeFi prediction platform. And the two things that we were mainly focusing on was real value creation and the accessibility, especially because it's really relevant to you. Like you said, that getting into some of these DeFi protocols sometimes is a bit hectic. They're not that clear. The DApps are a bit clunky. So essentially how it works is there will be these prediction pools, and how these prediction pools work is they're a fixed maturity. So sort of 7, 10, 15, 20 days. And you take your token and you stake into these pools. And on the day you stake into the pools, it's, say, if it's a 10-day pool, you have to predict the price of that particular asset class, what it will be at the end of that duration. So if we were to enter today into the BTC pool, you'd say, right, it's the 28th of March. On the 7th of April, what will be the price of BTC? You might say it'd be $62,000. And then what happens whilst you're in those prediction pools, you get these staking returns. So you get that guaranteed staking interest. And then on top of that, you get a BTC and totem reward on your relative performance compared to other people in that prediction pool. And so how we're seeing a lot of these DeFi protocols have these face melting APYs, the real adjusted rewards tend to be quite low, so you see on like SNX, these kind of things, their actual adjusted rewards are kind of like 2 to 5%. So it's not that high. So by giving away native totem and BTC, you're kind of really increasing the actual real returns there. And then the second part is that we're actually releasing something with non-punitive staking and predictions. And that means essentially, rather than other traditional platforms where you lose 20 to 100% of your stake if you're incorrect, we know BTC is so volatile. Even with Trader Man taking us through the rundowns on the live streams, you're not always going to get those setups. And so what we want to do is we don't want to discourage people from entering prediction markets. So that means we've moved the kind of the pain into the background volume. So there's a 3% recall function on selling and sending, and that means that you actually don't lose your stake for any inaccurate predictions. So hopefully, it'll be a lot more people kind of actually interacting with the coin, and it just means the people who are just speculating on the token actually are essentially paying for those BTC and staking rewards for the actual people who are using it.
Yeah, so a lot of focus on rewarding the people that engage with the platform as opposed to just punishing those. Of course, we want to give away a lot of free Bitcoin, and we were doing some of the maths, and if we have a few thousand people using this, it could be well over $1 million in free Bitcoin for the community, which would be an awesome achievement.
Yeah, so what I really like about the project is kind of a few things, and maybe you guys can share your screen in a bit and kind of show a few of the screenshots of the UI. So one of them is simplicity. It's for me, Uniswap, setting up a MetaMask, going on some of these kind of aggregator websites where you can do staking, where you can do farming, where you can stake your Ethereum and then take out a DAI loan and then use that DAI loan and stake that somewhere else. It was just confusing for me. It's as simple as that. And I understand that, DeFi is the future of France. We all know that. But I think ease of use and simplicity is super important. Especially for someone like me who kind of comes in and doesn't have a ton of knowledge of it. I think the barrier to entry sometimes is just the platforms in themselves. So one of the things that really drew me to what you guys did, and maybe if you want to share your screen, is exactly that, is the really clean dApp, right? Or dApp, whatever you want to call it. It's easy to understand. It's like, okay, what price do you think Bitcoin is going to be 10 days from now? You put that in, you put how much you want to wager, and then it's kind of shows you everything in advance. Hey, here's how much you'll make if you're right. Here's worst case scenario. So I think simplicity, and then I think the gamification of it makes it really cool as well, right? So if you're a trader like myself, outside of just trading where you have to put up money and you're risking, getting stopped out and losing your, some of your funds. If you just have a general direction, kind of feel the market being like, hey, I think we're going to make a new all-time high in the next 10 days, in the next 1 month, you can make a prediction using TotemFi and actually get paid if you come close and actually if you get right. So you can kind of combine your TA with kind of a DeFi staking gamification play as well, which I think is really cool. And you get paid in Bitcoin. I think that's a huge change as well. Like one of the things I never understood about some of this farming stuff is all the rewards were in that native token. And I was like, well, what if I don't know what this token is for and what am I going to do with it? It's like with the chance to win Bitcoin, I think that widens your audience, kind of majorly.
Yeah, I mean that's a really massive point as what Johnny was saying is, essentially giving away Bitcoin protects you from the inflation of just your own token. Sorry, we can't share our screen. Is it okay to
update the host?
I gotta give you permission. I guess I am the boss here.
Yeah, we're just under your rule.
There you go. I'm a gentle god. Don't worry.
Yeah. Strong alpha. Here we go.
One. Just down. We could just do straight on the preview.
So yeah, here we go. So yeah, we've got a couple of screens here from the sneak peeks for the UX. So this is like the landing page for the dApp. And so we're having quite sort of minimalistic, but hopefully quite, once you get a bit used to it, it will be very easy to use. So you land on here, and this is, say, with our branding, there's like the fox, the wolf, and the owl pool. And initially that's kind of like the fox is a bit more agile, so it'll be like a shorter length pool, whereas like wolf and owl, like a bit of a longer term animal. That's just kind of fitting in with the whole ecosystem of the branding. But let's just take this initial fox pool, for example. So up here you have kind of the pool status, and you'll be able to see how full the pool is and when the next pool departs. So the pool either gets triggered from when it's full in allocation, or when there's a certain time limit reached, so like a 5-day waiting period, and then it's a 15-day pool. And that just means that your funds will never be stuck, and it won't be moving. And I staked this yesterday or 10 days ago and it's not launched yet. So those two things help that keep moving the whole time. And then underneath what we have here is a kind of like a dynamic ROI calculator, and then the general distribution for what's happening in the current protocol. So here, this is going to be really easy for you to just say like, okay, right, if I stake 1,000 totem and come in first place, this is how much BTC and this is how much totem I could win if I get that right. And what's that to do is just make sure people understand what they're actually doing on the D app, because some of the ones you've gone at the moment and you're just staking like $2,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 and you don't really know what you're doing. So
are you saying I'm not actually going to get 7 million APY?
Sorry to disappoint. You've got to stick to the 100x longs. So yeah, and then this is just showing the distribution of like that current pool. So if in first position, you win 30% of the pool prize. If you're in second position, you get 15%, and then this is the staking reward. And then importantly, we want to always keep track of how much we distributed to the community. So then if we go on to this is what the actual, if you click predict now, this was like a pop-up. This is on the mobile version. And what you kind of see here is you're allowed to select what the BTC price would be, and then how much totem you want to stake. And we'll have the kind of like the previous 30 days of BTC price action. So you can kind of see relatively what you want to predict, and it'll bring up a red dot of where you're actually predicting. And then the more totem you stake, the higher range you get. And what that is to do is to make sure that, this is a platform built we're driving that accessibility. And this means that even if you're not a professional or like a very adept analyst like you can have a chance actually like winning a prize. So if you were to stake, say, $2,000-$3,000, you could kind of build up a range of $250 either side of your prediction. So if BTC is ranging, when we were seeing it range between, at the moment we're kind of between 50 and 60. So in 15 days, if you can kind of build up a $500 gap for yourself, even if you're not the most accurate technical analysis, you can probably have a good chance actually scooping a win. So it's going to be quite cool to see everyone kind of get involved with it. And like we say, with those non-punitive predictions, it means that you're not going to be overly anxious. You're getting those staking returns as it is, and then on top of that, you're getting the BTC and totem for your prediction place.
Yeah, hopefully bringing some of that lovely gamification.
Yeah, and as I say, this is the MVP, and what we're really keen to ensure that we do is, we want to just continually build something that's engaging, fun, interesting, and rewarding at the same time. So the on-chain governance that we're currently developing is going to allow people to spin up pools that they want to see. So there's a chance to move into different on-chain assets. So your DOTs, your ADA, your Solanas. Because clearly that's what you all want to see at the moment.
We're predicting high numbers for Solana.
Exactly.
And so and then you obviously got the non-price related events. So we'll have like a stake for Trump, stake for Biden. You get like a small BTC payout whoever wins the election. These kind of like fun, interesting pools that we want to be moving quickly. And more importantly, we don't want to necessarily be saying everything that we're going to be doing. We want to be hearing from the community. We'd like to see this, and not even we need to hear from them. It's like they can vote for it themselves.
Yeah, I think that's really cool is that you guys are agile, right? So you can add features, you can add pools. I think that's a super cool idea, not just adding other coins, but, making it interesting. Like, I don't know, you could do market caps, you could do dominances, you could do real world events. If there's a crazy, the World Cup for soccer or something like that, the kind of applications are endless, right? I mean, basically, it's
exactly.
almost.
We were thinking about maybe even having a pool, like what date will Bitcoin hit 100K and give away a whole Bitcoin? You know, something cool like that. Whoever got the closest date. So there's so many possibilities to come. Once we get through our MVP.
Yeah, no, I think that would be super cool. Like I could just, there's almost like a sports betting kind of vein to it in some instances, like you're betting on the outcome of a game. I think that's awesome. I think it's a super clean dApp. So I'm really excited to, get in there and actually start using it. So I had a question here from the chat. So they're saying, is this single token staking, no impermanent loss danger?
Yeah. So this is just there's no chance of like you're not in like a liquidity pool where like another price can pull down the actual absolute amount of token that you have. So you just stake like 1,000 totem, and then there's going to be like a small fee on entry to the prediction pool. So that's like 3%. So if you staked 1,000, 997's in there, and then that's what the interest is accruing on. And then you get your additional rewards on top for how you place in your actual prediction. So say you place second, I think you get 20% of the pool prize, which is going to be like between say like $3,000 and $5,000 of BTC. So you get $1,000 of BTC, and then also like probably an extra $300 total or something like that. Obviously, like we need to see the price action from when we launch to set how much each of the prizes are, because it's kind of the treasury management is like what's going to be important of like, are we having open positions, etc., and that kind of stuff. But there's no impermanent loss.
Okay, that sounds like a good thing. Impermanent loss sounds bad, but no, I mean, I think this is going to be awesome. Like, I'm super excited to try it out. So, on this screen here, you're showing us, the wallet, how much you have staked, what you still have available to stake, and then is this also kind of like a history of pools that you've been in?
Yeah. So this is like we're just sort of working through the My Accounts page here, and this is still obviously like a work in progress. So this is going to show you, when there's eventually like different types of pool out, it'll be showing like what pools you're in, what pools you finished, where you placed, what your prediction was. And I think like what Harry from a marketing man's got this shareable asset that we've been talking about. That's kind of like if you do take those longs on exchanges, you can normally share like this is a 50x long, this is the entry price, this is the exit price. It'll be a totem shareable Twitter asset will be like I predicted BTC this price to this date and I've come first, and you can like share that out in Twitter being like I nailed this prediction, and maybe we can make those into NFTs. I can't reveal any under the hood partnerships that are coming, but yeah, I mean, so there's some cool stuff that can be done.
I think that's a really cool idea with the sharing, because I mean everyone knows about Twitter and clout. That's what it's all about, right? I need something that I can pin at the top of my tweet wall so I can get a bunch of likes, pump up those dopamine numbers. Because who cares about Bitcoin at the end of the day? I just need likes on Twitter. But I keep going back to that because I'm still super new with this space, and the fact that I can actually win Bitcoin instantly makes me want to at least try it. Like if I'm like never heard of this before, I'm like, okay, so I buy some totem and I can now actually have a chance to turn that into winning actual Bitcoin. Where every other instance of DeFi staking and farming that I've seen, there was never a straight line to the cryptocurrency that I actually wanted. Right? It's like, okay, well, you can use this to now stake this and then use this to buy something else. It's like, well, I just want more Ethereum or more Bitcoin. And so I think that's a kind of like unique advantage that you guys have, or whatever you want to call it, that differentiates you right off the bat. It's like, hey, you're actually in a pool where the winner gets actual Bitcoin. And I think that's awesome. So maybe tell us about some of the important dates you guys got coming up. Because I mean, I see on some of these screenshots, the price prediction of Bitcoin was 13,000. So you guys have been working on this for a while. So what are
bearish?
Yeah, exactly. So
So we're just entering the really, really exciting stage of the project. On the 31st of March, the whitelist will open, which means you can register for the IDO, which will be on a platform called Dockstarter. So we're lucky to be incubated tier 1 incubation by the DuckDAO guys. I don't know if you know them, but they're a really awesome community. And so essentially on the 31st, you're whitelisting your address so you can get a slot in the IDO on the Duckstarter platform. And then after that, on the 6th of April, about 2 hours after that it goes live on Duckstarter, will be on Uniswap. And I think that'll be a really fun day. And then one other thing is we've also got a pup on launch pools, which is going to be a pop-up. What do they call it?
A pop-up pool, yeah. So basically,
pool, yeah.
Launch Pools XYZ, which ticker is L Pool. Then what they do is they're in partnership with Alphabet, and they basically are giving deal flow to sort of their community. So when they get like a strategic allocation, so they got $10,000 strategic allocation in our project, and they essentially run these like short staking pools. So I think they're over 2 or 3 days, and you stake in you buy their token L Pool, and you stake in that pool, and you get like a chunk of that $10,000 allocation at the strategic price. So they're basically just giving out deal flow, which is kind of cool.
My understanding is obviously this thing needs to trade for a little bit to determine kind of, the range of the actual token before the prediction app is launched, or is that getting launched on the 6th as well?
So, and then the actual prediction app, which kind of we're doing like test runs at the moment, and we've got a sort of a staging environment, and I think hopefully the main app will be live shortly after we do our TGE event on the 6th of April. Full date to be completely confirmed based on a lot of technical stuff, but it's all looking really great.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's also, again, those auditors booked in, and they're so busy. They're just, they're selling the shovels in the gold rush at the minute.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell you.
I mean, this is an exciting time for you guys. I'm super stoked. I mean, obviously you've been working on it. We have a couple more questions from the chat. I don't want to keep you guys forever. I do know you're in the UK, so I don't use the 2400 clock, but I believe 0030 is late. So what happens if your prediction is way off? Do you lose the amount of money you staked?
No. So there's no prediction. There's no penalties for incorrect predictions whatsoever. So that means, if you're $50,000 out, say you're super bullish and you put $200,000 in the next 15 days, the minimum that can happen is that you have your 3% taken off, and then you get that. I think it's 60% per annum at the moment. So that is about 2.5%. And then if you're in the top 25, you get some extra prize of BTC and Totem.
Okay.
But the pool sizes are not going to be absolutely massive, because the goal is to make sure that people actually get interaction with the prizes. You see lots of these exchanges having these massive trading volume competitions, and no one actually gets the chance to sort of win those unless you're a huge whale. So we want to make sure that people have the chance to actually get involved, get these BTC prizes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what's awesome is worst case scenario, you're just staking your money for 10 days, 30 days, whichever pool you choose, right? It's not like there's an instance where, and that's what I kind of brought up at the start, guys, in terms of like, if you're like, when you're trading, as much as the trading is making an educated guess, it's making a prediction, but you have risk, right? If you're wrong, you lose your 2, 3, whatever percentage of your account. So maybe if you're in a Bitcoin long and you're like, hey, I don't know when this is going to happen, but I think Bitcoin's going to go to 70K in the next month, you can make a prediction. At the worst case, you're earning some APY and you're staking that money that you've invested, and maybe you win some extra Bitcoin. Another question here, which I think we just answered, is do you also make money off the money you're staking? The answer is yes. That's the staking reward that you're getting that I think you just mentioned is at 60% right now. Couple people here want to know just your background real quick. So what do you guys do? I think we commiserated when we talked last time about our accounting backgrounds, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, we're brothers. So we're very lucky that we've been brothers and hustling together. I guess my background was sort of been in Bitcoin for quite a long time, back in the early days. In 2013, I was running a music festival. And at the same time running a tech conference. They're like, you're young, why don't you organize the Bitcoin stage? I was like, yeah, sure. And it was there that I had this moment where this guy was explaining it all to me, and I was like, oh wow, this is a serious moment. And then I was like, told everyone about it, went all in, and of course, boom, 90% drop. that real red candle was a real learning curve. I've obviously had lots of other roles in marketing, in growth and FTSE 100 companies. In the last 3 years, I've helped take an exchange from 1 million to 7 million customers as a very early employee in the UK. So it's pretty exciting. Always really excited about crypto.
John?
That's awesome.
So Haz is my brother. He pushed me into BTC back in 2013 after talking about when he ran it at this conference, which was in the end a good thing. It was tough. That big drop initially was a tough one, but welcome to crypto and all of that. So got the newbie badges early on. And then, I've been working, like we reminisced, in a traditional sort of corporate and international tax for a global accountancy firm. And then last sort of like 7 months, we've been really focusing on getting this totem up and running. And now we're kind of like really, obviously, 10 days off launch. So we're really just pedals to the grindstone, really,
Yeah, 24/7 right now.
I think I can't. It's like I can't trust a crypto person who hasn't been through at least one bear market. It's kind of like you can't trust a skinny chef. It's like do you even eat your own food? It's like how can I trust you in crypto? Like and trust me, I have nothing against new traders. Come on in, buy my bags. But like it's one of those things where it's like until you've been through that, and it doesn't feel like that long ago. The last all-time high in 2017, those are OGs now in my book. It's like, hey, you've been through an 80% drawdown and you're still here. Like you are part of the community, and welcome, and hopefully you've learned some lessons along the way. And so sounds like that must have been great for your relationship, shilling your brother the top of the 2013 cycle there and getting him involved. But
yeah, exactly. So in 2013 we bought the top. In 2017 we swapped Bitcoin for shitcoins. And so 2021 is our cycle. Third time lucky. Let's go. Got this.
Honestly, I mean, I've very similar. 2014, no idea what I was doing. Lost some of my money. I did okay in 2017, and now it's like it is what it is, right? I mean, it's lessons. What we're lucky about is we see entire market cycles happen in the span of 3 years, where I think gold took about 30 to do its market cycle. Peter Schiff will be dead, I think, before it's complete its next one. So we still gotta.
We're starting to feel a bit sorry for Peter, aren't we? It's starting to look a bit, so some of his tweets, like they're losing a bit of their momentum as Bitcoin's at $55,000. It's kind of hard to sort of bang it. Smash it.
Exactly. When it pulls back to 45 and it's like, dude, like, come on, like, what are we talking about here? Every time it drops, he's a great bottom indicator. Well, awesome, guys. This has been super fun. I don't want to keep you up too late. It looks like we've answered all the questions in the chat. So key dates, just to kind of remind everyone: March 31st is the date for the IDO whitelisting. April 6th is the token generation event. Any of you guys who have been dealing with Uniswap and stuff, DuckDAO, one of the best platforms in the space. So super awesome. I think that you guys are getting launched on there. That generally means really good things. I see a ton of projects coming out of there that do great. So I'm really stoked for you guys, and I'm absolutely, now they're correcting my math. Some guys like, how's the 3% fee work? And I was like, well, if you stake 1,000 totem, it stakes 997. No, that is 3%, is it not? No, he's right. 30 totem. Okay. I'm not very good at math, apparently, even though I have an accounting background. What they don't tell you is we get calculators in Excel that do all the hard calculations for us. I never had to do it. But yes, I'm super excited for this, you guys. I think it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. I will make sure to tweet out to all you guys listening once things go live. I think once things are up and running and we got some of the kinks out, I don't know, maybe we can come up with some cool ideas for some pools, some stuff like that. I think the fact that you want to have community feedback and have them involved, and that's what makes it fun. And I think that's that's going to differentiate you guys from what's out there now, is you want to work with the community and put stuff together that people are going to like. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be awesome. So if you guys got any questions, follow them at TotemFi on Twitter. Do you guys have like a Telegram, anything like that people can join? I imagine in the description.
Yeah. I don't know where to post it, but yeah, TotemFi officials on Telegram, and then TotemFi on Twitter. That's our handle.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on, staying up late. I'm sure you're not sleeping much anyways going into this thing, but
on to the next one. On to the next one.
On to the
so
next.
Much for having us. Cheers.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was TotemFi. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I've got a little bit of this is going to be my new kind of explain to main series that I'd kind of been talking about with you guys. So I'm really excited for these conversations. You know, hopefully that one went pretty well. I feel like it was good as my first time, so hopefully you bared with me there. I appreciate you guys staying and watching. But I'm really excited about that platform, and I'm also excited about, you know, this series in general. I'm going to be having some really cool conversations with some people in the space, and hopefully I can bring a bit of a unique perspective in terms of someone who is not already super knowledgeable about some of these things, and I come in curious and just wanting to learn more, and I'm stoked. My next one is going to be on April 4th. With Nuno from Utrust. So Utrust is an absolute beast in the space. You could kind of consider it like the PayPal for crypto. You know, I've talked about this in the past. If we want to see mass adoption, we need companies like Utrust. So I'm really excited for that conversation. That's going to be happening in a week from now. But I've got a little bit of time left here, guys. So let's look at a couple more charts here, and we will keep the stream going until the weekly close. So another 30 minutes. So basically, what do you guys want to see? I will take the first couple of requests in the chat, and we'll just go for it. Danny wants to see UTK. Why don't we take a look at UTK? Because, you know, it's fucking flying. So, or not because it's flying, because I'm going to be chatting with them next week. So I actually talked about this happening. So I did a video on UTK last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it might have been 7 or 8 days ago. And we had just put in this big green candle, and I'd said, listen, you want to set some stink bids in this lower gray box. And I know this is a big gray box, but I'm pretty confident any price action that comes in here is going to get bought up really quick. And we're going to see continuation to the upside. This to me looks like a chart that is just breaking out. So I'm not trying to shit on Solana here by going back to Solana, right? But like, see how much this chart has moved already just on the weekly versus a chart like UTK has not moved, you know, nearly as much. So I think this thing has a ton of upside still. Like, this chart looks like it hasn't put in kind of a parabolic expansion yet. Obviously, these markets are heavily reliant on Bitcoin, but I'm still macro bullish on Bitcoin for Q2. So I'm going to be macro bullish on some of these altcoin projects. Can we come lower first? Absolutely. But to me, this is where you want to accumulate UTK if you have a chance, right? And so we've wicked into it there. And I talked about this in my altcoin video. With some of these alts, all you need to do is go on the weekly, right? And sorry, just one sec here. I lost my stream here. I lost the chat here, guys. I apologize.
All you need to do.
Sorry about that. Can you guys still hear me? See me? Sorry about that. Okay. Sometimes all you need to do is set stink bids, right, in these pullback weekly blocks. And I talked about this on some of the alts that I'd gone through. I think I'd done a alt spam list somewhere in here. I don't know. And because sometimes you'll just get filled on these wicks, and then price will literally pump like, 10-15%. So if you had stink bids at this weekly order block, right, and you got filled, just to here is a 20% move. Up to here, it's like a 50% move. I'm not saying that you bought this absolute low, but if you'd set stink bids, which I talked about in my last video, in this weekly block, maybe you set some here, some in the middle, some lower, you could have been filled on a wick and up instantly, like very quickly. So I like the reaction off the weekly. Generally, whenever I see a reaction off a high time order block that ends up like this, it looks pretty good. This weekly candle looks like it's going to be closing bullishly in the next little bit here. Obviously, on the weekly chart, we need to see a break above this high for continuation, but I like what I'm seeing here. What I don't love is this low time frame wick, right? And I'm not surprised we're seeing this at all, is because what have we seen on Bitcoin? What have we seen on Ethereum? We've seen kind of a potential, little bit of a pullback after a weekend of pumping. So, if we see a pullback here, I would not be surprised. We've ran these highs, but some sort of pullback here I think is still a long. Like if I'm just looking at this objectively, I think this is a bull flag. I think this is a breakout of that bull flag, and I think this is a pullback to long, right? So I'm still bullish on UTK here, not just from a chart perspective. This thing's got tons of FA behind it. It's a legit company, legit product, and the chart looks great. So you combine all of those things together, I like it. So if you get a chance to buy in here, I still think this is an area to accumulate. Otherwise, hold above here, bullish, or a pullback into this consolidation, right? So SFP here, maybe we get a pullback down here, very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. That could be a long, right? Right into your OTE, into your sweet spot, whatever you want to call it. So UTK looks bullish. I like it. I like the project. Chart looks good. I think this is going to have a parabolic leg sooner than later. Once Bitcoin starts trending up hard again and makes a new all-time high, like I see this being is one of those charts that starts to look like a parabola, which will be awesome because I own some. Okay. Is there a Napoleon Dynamite AMA, or why is Pedro here? Daniel, are you making fun of my glorious, luscious mustache? Because if you are, I will not stand for it, sir. This is unfortunately, you know what? So I was watching a TikTok the other day, and some guy said that what he did, because like I'm facially hair challenged. Like my dad couldn't grow a beard till he was like 35. And even now his beard is not that great. So it sucks. I saw this TikTok where this guy said he couldn't grow a beard, and then what he did is he put Rogaine, and he used like a little rolling thing that had needles in it. He called it like a micro roller or something, and he put Rogaine on his face, and then you'd roll this thing on his face, and he'd get all bloody, but then in 3 months he had a beard. I don't know if I want a beard that bad, but who knows? Maybe I'll get desperate. Okay. Devin says, anything like that segment that can lower the entries for barrier for new folks like me is great. That's exactly what I'm going for there, Devin, so I appreciate that. Ilsimissibly wants to look at Cardano. So let's do it. Let's look at it. So Cardano's obviously gone on a crazy rip. It's so annoying. I literally this was like one of my first streams that I'd done in this series, was like way back here, just noticing this ascending move on Cardano, and I didn't buy any. It was like super basic. I think it was the 3-day, might even be the weekly. Yeah, so ascending triangle into weekly support or demand, weekly resistance, right? And you can see the result, right? So we higher lows, right? Into resistance, 1 tap, 2 tap, launch it. So once it closed through here, you just need to be longing dips. And this is a perfect example for what I'm talking about with ETH. If this is our key resistance level, right, it might just do this on the high time frame, but there's still going to be a pullback, and it doesn't look like there's a pullback here, but this is the weekly chart. This entire wick is going to be a pullback on the lower time frame. So if I zoom in, right, to the 4 hour, once we broke through that area, right, with conviction, this is where you're looking to enter, right? Or even on the next leg, right? There's still pullback. So on the weekly, this is just green candle, green candle, green candle. But on the lower time frames, right, there are legit pullbacks to enter. It's not always going to give you the perfect breakout and retest, but there's always going to be a pullback after the breakout. You just need to find the time frame that it's on and then define your entry around that. So Cardano's gone on a crazy rip. Kind of funny that it's SFP'd this high. I don't even know if you count that as a swing failure pattern, but I mean, it did. That's the previous all-time high, right? And it's never closed above there, right? So I think that would be a pretty clear bullish trigger on Cardano. Let's see if we got a daily. You don't even have a daily close above there. So the daily is never closed above the previous all-time high. So I would say a pretty straightforward long setup on Cardano would be a daily close through all-time high, would be a long trigger. Looking at this thing for something kind of more short-term, I think we're in a range right now, obviously. If you're trading this thing with leverage, I feel like this is like a torture chamber, like just looking at all of these wicks. But no reason to be bearish above this level, in my opinion. Let's see here. This is kind of what I'd be watching on Cardano, right? So above here, bullish, right? Below here, right? So what if we do one of these, right, and come below here, then that would be bearish. But, you know, this is just going to be kind of consolidating for now. Obviously, there's trades here. This is a big range, but I would probably not really want to touch this thing. There's other coins that haven't broken out yet, right? Whereas this has already gone a big run. But, you know, this could have a move to $2 if it breaks to the upside here. So this is what I'd be watching on Cardano on the daily. You know, you've got some, you know, some lower time frame SR right here that it's rejecting at, right? This is kind of like a bearish order block. So above there, good chance we test the high at the very least. But if we stay below here, as long as we kind of maintain the higher lows, maintain this gray box, I think eventually with Bitcoin breaking out and Ethereum breaking out, this will break out as well. Yeah, I mean, it's gone on a big run already. And if it does lose this gray, I think we might see a deeper pullback, you know, back below $1. But that would be a significant level to mark as well, right? Round number there at $1. All right, so as long as it stays above $1, maintains this structure, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I've done it again. I've done it again, guys. I keep accidentally leaving the chat. Sorry about this. I just bought a new snowboard today, actually. I'm super stoked. Okay, so Cardano looks okay. KSM breaking out for real, right? So just with all of these alts, guys, right? You got to remember that if Bitcoin's going to dump further, these alts are going to shit the bed, right? But if Bitcoin continues to look good, these alts will continue to look good. Damn. Who just said this? Who said KSM? Serious laugh. Why didn't you tell me about this last month? I would have been up fucking 200% already. So super high time frame. There's absolutely no support on this thing for a while. You know, going down to the 3-day, this is kind of just, you know, set your bids here and you hope, right? Because this looks crazy bullish. This looks like a legit breakout. I wouldn't doubt that this is a legit breakout. But yeah, that's kind of what I would do. Like, as you can see here, I'm gonna use this for a sec here. Because you're not always gonna get that order block pullback, right? So like, here's your order block, doesn't even come close. Here's your order block, doesn't even come close, right? Here's an order block, doesn't even come close. So sometimes when these things are trending really hard, what you wanna do is you wanna buy the old high, right? So you had this consolidation, previous high, right, becomes the low. Same thing here, previous high, doesn't quite get it, right? But that might be the instance here, where it might not come back that deep, but it might break out and then come retest this previous high. So this would be a more aggressive dip buying strategy as opposed to waiting for the order block, but sometimes it doesn't give you that order block. But this looks pretty fucking good to me. I have no idea what this coin does. I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, I mean, I would probably bid here. I don't know if it will come back here, but if it does, I would buy it for sure. So if it comes back here, I would bid it for higher. But yeah, it looks legit. PRQ. All right, so big leg up, pull back into demand, retest, and it's moving away. So that's all good. What you want to see, obviously, right, is now a new high get formed, right? So if this can continue up, create a new high. I'm just fucking with this highlighter. I don't know why. I think that looks good. Wouldn't be overly bearish. But yeah, it's nice retest here on the 3-day. On the daily, basically nothing to see here. H4, a little bit more detail. So H4, I wouldn't be surprised now if we see a pullback from like here, right? So this is resistance. This is quite an extended move. So something like this, right? That would be kind of what you want to see on the H4. Pull back from here, give you a higher low, right? Maybe retest this previous resistance, turn support, and then see continuation. But this thing looks pretty good to me on the daily and on the 3-day, right? Even on the weekly, right? There's your weekly order block. It doesn't really look like it, but it is. Breakout, retest, long wick. Now we've got a green candle forming. So I don't hate this at all. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of pullback because it's looking a little extended, but it could just keep going. But if it gets a pullback to here, I think that's a long. Otherwise, a flip of this level would be a long. And once we take out this high, that will be a beautiful setup on the high time frame, right? Because you'll have a low, right? You'll have this high would be here. You'll have a higher low, which is right here. Then you would have a higher high, which would be breaking through here. And then I'd be looking along the next high time frame dip. So this looks pretty good. Let's look at CRO. Oops. Oh, this is the credit card company, isn't it? So, I mean, what's crazy about this to me, right, is like, is this not your weekly or your monthly order block, right? So it had this huge pump. Where'd it come back to? Right to the monthly demand. Even here, right? Move up, come back, retest the demand that led to the move, right? And I know this is the monthly, so it's a huge range, right? Like from here to here is, you know, like 20, 30%. But it doesn't change the fact that you can then dial in on a lower time frame and look for a bullish daily setup within that area, right? So there's your monthly order block, moved up, retest, right? Moved up, retest, boom. So, I mean, that looks pretty good. Just looking at the monthly, this is kind of probably where I'd want to look for a retest, but let's zoom in and see what we get. So within that monthly order block, right, you have a weekly order block. Move up, pulls back, retest the weekly order block right there, and then continues up. So like this thing's traded pretty clean. Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking to probably see what happens around here, right? Because if you draw this out, it also lines up with kind of your nearest high time frame support. Like that's a crazy fucking wick. I would just basically ignore that when I see something like that. But yeah, if we get a pullback to here, I would look for a long on this thing. Yeah, it looks okay. Do we hate this or do we love it? Wish I could make it less thick. But yeah, I would wait for a retest of, you know, this previous high, confluent with this. This is where I'd be looking kind of as support for another leg up. But yeah, that was like, I mean, this is like super fucking clean from like a TA perspective. Like this is a breaker. So this, look at that. That's like crazy. So there's your breaker, right? So the up candle that caused the down move that ran the low, it goes way far away from it, right? This is literally months and months and months. This is like a year later, comes back, retests that breaker perfectly, and then fucking launches, and it never even goes below it. You could have had your stop right there. Crazy. Hindsight's a crazy thing, right? If I would have just bought the bottom and sold the top, I'd be fucking rich. Let's look at Aave. Or Ave. I like Ave. Everyone's like, it's Aave. There's two A's. And I'm like, well, fuck you. So here's the one concern, right? With Bitcoin and with Ethereum and stuff. Some of these alts look fucked, right? Like this is on support, right? But what does this remind you of? Like this looks like the bouncy ball, right? Bounce, lower high, right? So if this bounces up and does another lower high, it's going down here. So maybe there is an instance where alts get one more flush before we have, you know, another alt season or whatever. But yeah, that's one thing I'd be wary of with some of these alts. These things need to start putting in some bullish market structure, because as much as this is holding support, what you don't want to see is support hold and then make a lower high. So even though it doesn't make a lower low, if this makes a lower high, you have a descending triangle. You have the bouncy ball meme. You have Bitcoin at 20K and this is 6K, right? And then what happens? Eats a dick, right? And then when it reclaims that floor, then it goes crazy, but still, you don't want to hold for this part, right? So if you have that happen with this, where it just does this and then it does this, right? Sure, this would be a great long, but if you're holding this from here, you don't want to ride this drawdown. So on support for now. I'm not saying it's over for this coin by any means, but it needs to put in a higher high here for me to like it. Because right now, all I see is price coming into support and making a lower high, right? Now it's come into support now, and now it needs to make a higher high, or else this isn't going to be a good look, right? So we came in, put in a lower high right into resistance, right? Come in, is this it? Is this a lower high here? Or are we going to come up higher? But basically, this is the level I'm watching on Aave right here. Put in a high above there, I'll be bullish towards a new all-time high. If it puts in a lower high into any of these bearish order blocks and fails to make a higher high above there, I think there's just as good of a chance that this breaks down. So we'll see. On support for now, I'm not telling you to short it. But you need this thing. This thing needs to put in a higher high, or else it's just making a descending triangle. Descending triangles can still break out to the upside, but how do they break out to the upside? Well, they put in a higher high and then a higher low. They shift the trend. So until this does that, I'm not really interested in longing this thing. If you're longing support, great. But for now, high time frame structurally, not really loving this one. There's better looking charts out there. All right, we'll do a few more here. Solana, let's see if it closed as an SFP. It did. It did. So Solana closed as an SFP on the weekly and on the daily and on the 3-day and every other chart. Except for, not every other chart. The 12-hour closed through. The daily closed as an SFP. This could just launch, right? That doesn't mean that it's fucking going to dump. Obviously, everything is reliant on what Bitcoin does at the end of the day, right? So Bitcoin, actually didn't dump that far. It had this dump, and then it's now putting in a potential higher low here, right? So if Bitcoin pushes up here, it's probably going to sweep these highs, right? Like this seems like the most obvious target on Bitcoin for me, those highs there. So if this pushes up, flips this level, I'd get bullish up into here. But yeah, it's holding this H4 order block for now. So let's see if it rejects here and rolls over, then fuck it, right? But if it rejects here and rolls over, Solana is going to pull back hard, right? So it depends on what Bitcoin is going to do. But if Bitcoin goes hard and stays bullish, this will probably make a new high, right? And then you can buy a pullback into the previous high, right? If Bitcoin dumps off and rolls off tonight and tomorrow and goes to like 53 or something, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this comes and retests this breaker here. That would be a long I would take on Solana right there if it's given. All right. Ethereum, let's see how that weekly closed. Ethereum looks slightly more rounded than Bitcoin, but that's a little baby SFP right there. That's a 12-hour SFP. That's bullish. H4 SFP, bullish, right? So that could have been it. That could have been the dip right there. We don't know. We'll wait and see. I'm just gonna sit on my hands. There's no clear trade for me. All right, guys. Let's see here. No beard in the world can cover that neck. Ain't that the truth? All right, we'll look at XMR and we'll look at Atom. And then I'm going to call it. The wind is still fucking howling. It is insane. So XMR. So holding above there, high time frame looks fine, right? That would be kind of your floor. I mean, this wind is fucked. Like, I'm about to go outside, get blown away. This is crazy. Like, do you hear that shit? Fucking nuts. I mean, I see this very similar to how I see, you know, like Ave or whatever, right? Or not Ave, sorry. Cardano, right? Like, looks like if it can break up from here, looks bullish, right? Like, so it's putting in higher, like, we've got the high, we've got a lower low. It's putting in higher lows here. So it needs to put in a higher high above one of these highs first, and then ultimately, obviously, above here. But this structure does not look super bearish to me. If it can do something like this, I think you could long it targeting there. But yeah, I don't hate this thing. You know, it's just consolidating for now. You know, could come down, but what you really don't want to see happen on this coin, Monero, is, I would say, probably lose this low here at like 200 essentially. I think if we lose 200, I think we'll come and test down here. I think as long as we remain above 200, right, this is just a range. Treat this as a range, right? So break above, bullish, sweep, bullish, right? Break below and retest would be bearish. That's how I would trade this thing. This is going to be resistance here as well, right? So like this will have a reaction here, whether it's just like this, right? But this order block will impede price at least briefly. All right, we'll look at Atom next here. Oops, what the fuck is that? Okay, well, that prediction worked out well. Psych. So, gosh, I wish I knew where I'd do this from. There you go, the 12-hour. So I mentioned this in probably my last stream. You know, big kind of triangle consolidation here. We did have resistance here, or what I thought would be support. So basically my last stream was here. I said if it holds here, it will break up. And you can see it's done the opposite, right? So we've actually broken through the support level that I had drawn, and we've made a lower low, and now we're bearishly retesting this SR flip and that kind of triangle support and resistance, that trend line support and resistance. So this looks kind of bearish to me. If I had to pick a direction on Atom, it would be down. I think if we can get back inside this triangle and back above here, we have a chance of it going up, but we've just broken market structure and we're looking like a bearish retest right now on Atom, right? So that looks like a bear retest to me. So leaning towards down on Atom if I had to pick a direction. Reclaim this, reclaim 2021, reclaim here, I'd get bullish again. For now, this looks like a bearish retest, and it looks like we're going to go down. And this is where I'd be looking to buy Atom. Maybe not that low. Let's see if there's something better. Maybe. Yeah, if it breaks down from here, it's going to fall hard. But yeah, we'll see. Leaning bearish on this one unless it can reclaim $20 to $21, right? And like, let's see, Bitcoin. It's all going to depend on what these guys want to fucking do. If this thing shits the bed, a lot of these alts are going to take a major lick. But yeah, this broke down. This looks like, I mean, you tell me, right? Does this not look like a bearish retest after a breakdown? Right? There's your trend line, right? Made a lower low, pulled back into the order block, right? That's what I see just looking at this like as a naked chart. But we'll see. We shall see. All right, guys. Jay LeBob wants to say, what books would I recommend people newer to TA? I've never read a trading book ever. So everything I've learned about trading has been through YouTube and spending a shit ton of time looking at the charts and making friends with people in the space who are like-minded. But I've never read like a trading book. I know everyone talks about like trading in the zone or whatever. Never read it. Never read a single trading book in my life. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the video there. This has been a fun one. I really hope you guys enjoyed that segment with TotemFi. So there will be more of those. If there's enough interest, I might just make it its own video series where instead of having it as part of Ethereum and Chill, I'll just have, explain it to main or explain to main being its own video. But yeah, that was really fun for me. Hopefully you guys have some clarity on where I think the charts are going, basically up or down, side or side. It's going one of those directions. But giving you a plan for if it goes up, here's how you can get involved. If it goes down, here's how you can get involved. Yeah, there's lots of stuff to cover. So definitely rewatch the start of the video if you just want just the Bitcoin and Ethereum coverage. Zingzom says Kazanomics, Kaz disciple. Kaz is someone that I learned from like 5 or 6 years ago. He was one of my early mentors, taught me a lot of great stuff. I basically use nothing that he taught me anymore. I've kind of become more pure price action, kind of ICT, supply and demand style. Whereas when I traded with Kaz, it was a lot more about, triangles, and he called them shock waves, but consolidations, and he was a bit more of a trend trader. At least that's what I thought. But I learned a lot from Kaz about kind of mindset and like market psychology, I would say, is the stuff that I learned the most about from him and still use to this day. But Kaz is no longer on Twitter. I think he's got a website still. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Love you so much. I'll be back again with another video. I'm going to do another part of that altcoin video either tomorrow or Tuesday. So I'm still making my way through that list. And yeah, the fucking streams are just going to get better from here. I've got a video editor. I've got a fucking expensive ass camera coming so you can see my neck in even higher definition. It's going to be awesome. So looking forward to it. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon.